to have any type of regrets and like, man, I should have did this. I should have left that person long ago. You don't want to waste your time. That's the one thing. Time is so precious, and when you're holding on to old things, you're just wasting away. And that's the one thing you can't get back is time. You can get money back, you can get clothes, you can get possessions back, but you can't get time back, and that's the most valuable. You
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
I want to ask you guys a question. You brought it up earlier. We're talking about New Year's resolutions and the fact that, for the most part, they don't work.
Mhm.
Why do you feel that is?
That's a great question.
It is.
You know,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think that sometimes it's pretty much the pressure, maybe the pressure of living up to something, just a fear. It's like feeling like you can possibly, and I know some people just don't just decide not to even make one because of the simple fact is like you're putting yourself in a position and you have to own up to that commitment, you yourself. Like a lot of people tend to keep these things, and that's something that I do. Like a lot of people ask me like, oh, what's your New Year's resolution? It's like it's not for anyone to know because I don't want to look or let myself down in front of anybody. I would rather keep it to myself and prove to myself that I can face the challenge in, cutting sugar out of, my diet or leaving meat or whatever the case is. I want to, prove to myself in my own challenge. But for the most part, a lot of people don't stay committed because a lot of people don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can actually face whatever they want, or put themselves to and put themselves to the challenge and face it and conquer it. They put a ceiling over their limits or their capabilities, and a lot of times they fail because of the simple fact that they don't have faith in themselves.
Mhm.
That's what I feel.
I like that.
I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think that. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. Yeah, people. I think it's a mix of things. I think it's people put pressure on themselves, and then it's like, man, like I'm doing this. All right, I can give in for a day and get back to it tomorrow, and then tomorrow turns out to be the next year, and then you're making
Hmm.
the same resolution. So I guess it's just it's also a matter of having the will to want to change. You know, if if it's that if it was easy, everybody would do it. And I think that hearing other people say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this too." Okay, yeah, I can get on board. But people don't realize it takes an actual will and want to do something to make it last. To you have to want to change. You have to want to be tired. I think I was just talking to you about this today. You have to want to be tired about your situation to make the change. If you're not tired of it, you're not going to change anything. You could have a New Year's resolution every year. You could have a weekly resolution.
Mm.
But if you don't get tired of the old and the old situations, the old way of doing things, you're not going to do it.
And it all starts in the mind
Yeah,
because you have to understand that you have a choice.
right.
You have a choice whether to go left, right, up, down,
Hmm.
yes, no. Like make a choice and stick
Stick
to
to
it
it. Yeah,
and be committed.
yeah,
Understand that, I mean, discipline is important. So
right.
if you are deciding to, whatever it is that you decide that you want to do for this new year, and I know I speak for myself, I'm excited about this new year. And I hope that everyone else is excited about it because,
Hmm.
again, it's just new possibilities that can come your way in any way, but it's a choice that you have to make and put your mind to it, and then set a time, a date, and conquer those things.
Right.
I think that and I agree with everything that you guys are saying. Um, though I think that the main reason why a lot of people don't stick to their resolutions is because in this day and age, everyone's used to being instantly gratified. If we want something
Hmm.
done, we can look it up. We can look it up, see how to do it, and do it. If we want to research something, it's readily available. I think that people think that change happens overnight, and it doesn't.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of resolutions fail, because the number one resolution everyone makes is, I'm going to lose weight.
Right.
And, but people don't realize that to do that, it takes time. It takes work, but it takes time too, because you want to do it correctly. You want to, do it healthily. Be healthy about it. People say they want to stop smoking. That's something that's gonna take time to accomplish. Right. So I think that a lot of people want instant gratification on a resolution, and when they don't get it, they fall backwards. I believe that in this season, what people are gonna have to realize is that to get the results you want, there's going to be time and effort that has to be put into it. Mm-hmm. Like you said, being disciplined. Yeah, that's not something that you're going to do overnight. Right. You can cut. Like the person wanting to cut sugar out. You can do that, and yeah, it'll work for maybe a week or two. But do you have the endurance, the mental endurance, to really make it a way of life? And the person trying to quit smoking or whatever vice it is that they have. Do you have, it's one thing to do it 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 days or what have you, but do you have the mental stamina to keep going? And that's what I'm trying to develop in myself, is mental and emotional stamina, just to keep going in the right direction. I started out good. I want to keep going that way.
And also you need the, support, the encouragement, the motivation, and, also to know that it's okay to fail. Failing is a part of the plan.
Right.
It's
sometimes failing is half the fun.
Yeah.
but the thing is though is, it's not and also to realize it's not a one and done sort of situation. Just because you fell at it, doesn't mean you have to stay down. Right. You can get up, dust yourself off, and try again. Like I said, it's a mental and emotional stamina that's gonna push you towards your destination and where you're wanting to go.
You was listening to Aaliyah today, man? That's yourself.
No. I know, right? But I am a big Aaliyah fan too. So I mean, that's not too far off the mark. But this particular time, no.
I just thought about it. Good looking out, Grandpa. See, he been doing things and he's not even here.
Right.
But like at the funeral, I know a couple of us spoke about how he was a fisherman. He gave me my first fishing pole. Took me fishing for the first time, and the pastor who was officiating it, he spoke about what that means. Like being a fisherman, it means you have to have patience.
Right.
Like you can't again, like to piggyback off what Sam said, that instant gratification, that's not realistic. I don't think there's anything in this world that has instant gratification.
Anything worth having usually doesn't.
Right, the slow grind.
Except instant oatmeal.
Anything worth having. I can see my mom saying oatmeal is worth having.
Yeah. But it's about having patience. If you want that big catch as a fisherman, you got to have patience. It takes mad long. And that's why, I guess I kind of, fell out of, fishing, because you sit there for hours waiting for something, But that's how life is. Like, if you want, something that's good, that's worth having, it's going to take time. Even in Isaiah 40, verse 31, it says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings of eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." So that's patience right there.
That's scripture right there.
It is. It's on point. Like, you have to be able to have patience. You have to wait on, if you want anything good in this life, you have to wait on the Lord to send that to you. Whether that be with relationships, business, all that stuff, Like, you got to be patient. You got to be willing to go through, whatever it takes. You got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to let God be God. I seen that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Right.
Let God be God and wait on Him, and you're gonna get more than you could imagine. But yeah, that's what with the whole resolutions and stuff like that. You got to have that patience and know that okay, if it's worth it, this is what I want. It's gonna take some time, so let it happen.
And I think also too, a lot of what's important is not the beginning and end of a promise or a resolution, so to say. It's the middle part. It's the process.
Yeah.
The Bible does say, "Despise not the era of small beginnings." I'm something I'm learning too is God is about the process. Because he knows the beginning, he knows the end.
Right.
But
It's a process.
it's the process that we go through. Whatever, and whatever that is that you feel that He's leading you to do. It's the process in between that beginning and end. That's where the lessons are learned. That's where you draw closer to God. That's where you do your learning. That's where you gain knowledge and understanding. It's in the process.
Yeah, and then also, during the process, so say for instance you're in the middle, then you have how you was, the old you, the middle you, and what you have, I guess, worked your way into, and then you have the thing that you actually are walking into,
Right.
and in that process, you're able to weigh out the pros and cons. All right, say for instance if it was like me, I'm not eating sugar, or working out, is like, what are the benefits? Why go back to what was that I was maybe breaking out, or maybe out of, like, running out of breath, or whatever the case is, or if it's in a relationship, or you're being sad and depressed, and now you're in the middle and you're like, all right, I'm in this process. I'm almost away from this man that's been abusing me. I'm almost set free from that addiction of craving sugar, or I'm already 20 pounds lighter, so now you're heading towards that finish line where you're now conquered, your resolution or where you want to be. And why go back? Why go back to, now I'm craving some donuts and I want to go get a Reese cup. So all of this stuff is just like, you have to weigh your pros and cons, and you have to measure where you at versus where you came from, and not wanting to go back to the old person. And that is like a renewing of the mind every single day.
And I think that's a really important point you bring up, that crossroad. And I think every destination has one of those where there's a point where you get, it's like a fork in the road. Do you keep going? Do you turn back? Do you stay where you are?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people get to a point and they feel, okay, that's good enough.
Right.
I can sit here, and and that's the beginning of mediocrity, in my opinion, and that's, for me, that's where I'm not trying to be there. I've had, that was what last decade was about.
Right.
I got to a middle point and I stayed there, and and it allowed for life to kind of toss me to and fro. I want to, I think for myself, and I think that we as people should always strive to keep going.
Keep
When that fork in the road comes up, take the road that's going to allow you to keep going forward, not that's going to put you in circles, not that's going to send you backwards, not that's going to, and don't set up camp in the middle.
So easy to be discouraged and want to go back, and because that's the comfort zone. Right. That's where you're used to being. That's easy. It's normal. It's kind of like trying to, picking up where it's just, but just don't give up. Like, that's the whole point, is just don't give up. Keep striving. This is a new year, new decade. 2020 resolutions is just like.
That makes me think of a story in the Bible with the Israelites going to the Promised Land.
I was just thinking of that.
A
40-year trip that should have only taken 11 days.
Right. And then when you think about it, and I was saying this to you before. When you think about it,